Hey, welcome to Where Music Meets Us All. I have a special guest today, John Waite. I am so honored. He has helped me out so much, and over my career, I think you've probably played my venues at least 50 times.
Well, yeah. Well, it's nice to see you, and you've got a checkered past, and that's fine, you know.
That is true. And when John first came in, our mutual friend, Eddie Money, when he passed away, John helped me with his memorial at the Saban, and I will appreciate you forever for that.
Well, it was a big night.
It was a big night, and it was a lot of fun.
It really was. I mean, a lot of people, Sammy Hagar showed up. I mean, a lot of people that were really big names that genuinely wanted to...
Isn't it funny when you say Sammy, he's actually... like you, he's one of the nicest guys in the world.
Oh, he's great. But he's not only just great, though, but I mean, he's like the gold standard when it comes to rock singing.
It is amazing because he, out of the blue, just showed up at my son's restaurant in Park City and sang a set.
Wow.
And it's just amazing that people do stuff like that for nothing. And you and I were talking before the show how we do this and people pay us to do what we would do anyway.
Yeah, I think if you bring... that kind of light, it sort of generates so much. It's like that kind of behavior, like Sammy showing up and doing a set. It's like the same as the music. I think it's like carrying something golden. You bring it with you, you know?
Right. And it's amazing that you give back. And that's the biggest effect because a lot of the performers over my lifetime, they fall into two categories. They fall into the people that are takers and the people that are givers. And it seems that your popularity has nothing to do with your taker or giver. Your popularity has to do with your songs. And sitting in front of you, I realize you wrote a lot of the songs, right?
Oh, yeah.
And
I've always written.
What is your favorite song that you've ever...
Oh, man. There's a period of writing somewhere in the 90s when I wrote something like 3 albums worth of stuff, and I think the best stuff I wrote was in that. It was just after getting after bad English, getting out of that, and living in New York City. And
what do you attribute, like, what reason do you think that was your best work?
Because I'd got out of bad English. I think I was really trying to prove something. I was more in love with the acoustic guitar. I'd been going down to Nashville a lot. Just because of the acoustic guitar. It's the only place in America where you could find acoustic music, so I went down there a lot. And was writing more autobiographical stuff. And there's kind of rock speak, where you keep things simple and get to the point and rock on. And I was trying to write short stories, really, and the songs like Downtown was about living in New York City and drugs. And sort of that life of being in Manhattan, which is a 24/7 city.
When were you in Manhattan? What years?
I was from about 81 right through to about 98, 99.
Do you remember? Were you ever a baseball fan?
Not really. I'm not really a sports guy. I'm a music guy.
But I remember going down to go to the sports in New York. And I remember back in 1981 is when I graduated high school, that when I would go down there, if your car broke down on the way to Shea Stadium, they stripped it.
Yeah.
And remembered...
If you get out of the car, they strip you too.
Yeah, that's true. And I was amazed that I remember my dad, like, driving us through there. That was a rite of passage because we all had to learn... like, what situations were bad, what situations were good.
You know, I've never had a bad situation. Honestly, I've been up there a lot because a lot of my friends are up there in some of the greatest clubs. But I think, honestly, the New York that I knew, it had a smile.
Yeah.
And it could bite you.
Well, I'm originally from Red Hook.
Well, there you go. I mean, okay.
Yeah, so
Red Hook, man, that's like, that's great stuff.
Well, I'm from the Red Hook...
of the yesteryear.
No, the Red Hook North. There's 2 Red Hooks. There's Red Hook, Brooklyn, and there's Red Hook by Woodstock.
Oh, which one are you?
Red Hook by Woodstock.
Oh, I was thinking you were down by...
Yeah.
The
well, most people do that.
Shipyards, right?
I mess with people that, like, when I play football.
Yeah.
Because they think you're, like, a hoodlum if you say you're from New York.
Yeah, it works usually.
They know that immediately I'm going to go to that.
Yeah, I
and
know.
So Currently, you're coming and playing Oxnard on the 18th.
Yeah, we've been on the road really seriously for about 3.5 years. We went out with Foreigner and Styx last year and Rick Springfield this year, and we're playing major places, and it just seemed to evolve out of first of all, a documentary came out called The Hard Way that was on my life, and that was filmed during COVID lockdown, and it was pretty honest. And Scott Wright.
Where is that? Is that on Netflix or where is it?
That's on Prime.
Prime
and Hulu, and several other platforms. You might say.
Because Luann and I are going to have to watch that one. I missed that.
Oh
I
no,
didn't
it's
see that.
it's good. It's if it was me, I'd have made it darker. But some of it is dark. But that happened. Then I got my publishing back from bits and pieces that I didn't have. Then we got a great new agent. Then this year, apart from all the touring, Harlan Coben wrote a book called Missing You about 10 years ago, the crime writer Harlan Coben, and Netflix filmed it and made a series out of it.
And used your song.
Yeah, and it keeps reoccurring in the series. So all this really great stuff has happened. I suppose if you keep betting on the same number, it comes up, But the last 4 or 5 years have been probably the best years I've known.
Isn't that funny? And then in the concert industry, the last 4 or 5 years have seen changes like we've never seen.
Right.
It got to be where money was no object.
Right.
And people were just spending $3,000-$4,000 on tickets.
Right.
Now we're getting the impression that ticket pricing is important, and they don't want to be ripped off, and they want to have good concerts. So we've kind of stayed away from, because we started going down that path of Foo Fighters and the biggest talent you can get your hands on, and people just want to have a good time, and they want to enjoy and relive their past.
Well, yeah, but you want to kick him in the arse as well. You do. There's like 7 or 8 songs that I've got that I have to play. Isn't it time every time I think of you, head first, missing you, when I see you smile, midnight rendezvous, back on my feet again.
And when you play those songs, because I hear some artists don't like playing them and some artists really enjoy it.
No, I wrote them, or I did an arrangement on whatever my part of it was, but no, I enjoy the effect, and I think the melodies, they're not like other people's melodies. It isn't like operatic arena rock singing. It's more blues, and every night is slightly different because of that. The mic might sound a certain way, the room is different, the ambience of the sound, the audience has a different energy. So every single night the songs are different, and they lead you into something it's not jazz, but you respond to the chord changes where the downbeat comes.
It feels like I'm talking to the professor of rock.
No.
No. I'm listening to you and you're so passionate that's why you do this, and you'll never stop.
Well, no, I've got some new songs I'm working on.
You have a new album coming out.
Yeah, but every time I go in the studio, it sounds different to me. I go in there and I listen to it and I think, I've really fucked up. And then you go back, then you go back in and you think it's the best thing you've ever done. What I've found in making music is that if it's perfect, I have no use for it. I don't know what to do with it. If it's all in tune and played so correctly, there's a musical conversation that goes on between the singer and the band, and each member of the band. They talk to each other as they're playing. They do.
Uh-huh.
It's musical conversation. And if you start to clean that up and take that out and correct mistakes and stuff, it just drops dead. And I think if you can keep the live performance in the studio, that's your job. The other thing is commerce. You're just doing something that's faultless, that's aimed at a big market that can't tell the difference. It's product.
Then you're Milli Vanilli.
Then there's, yes.
But that's what I'm saying is today's artist, because I look at you and what I hear is you. And today, when a new artist come out, I don't know if they can sing because I can go on a program on my TikTok and I can sound like anybody.
Well, there is that. I mean, it's coming down the road. AI, it's going to be with us. There's going to be John Waite singing the Rolling Stones, or Robert Plant singing Milli Vanilli. I don't know. It's going to be the most insane thing, and it's destructive and it's bullshit, and I think it undermines art. But you're not going to stop it because it's a novelty, and people might want to hear Bob Dylan sing Led Zeppelin.
Is it us being older? Because I agree with you 100%. Because even when I look at any AI,
Yeah.
like the AI girls, the AI singing, I don't look at it as artwork
Well, it's not.
yet. Yeah.
But it's a level of creativity that it could be compared to art. We're just getting further and further and further away from the original.
Right. What we
mean,
consider it to be.
But I mean, we live in different times. There's artists who are tremendously successful because they're spotlighting a certain demographic, as they call it. And because they make so much money, they're supported by critics and by magazines because they're going to be able to write about them or take advertising in the magazine. One hand washes the other, and art becomes short for Arthur. I mean, true art.
Right.
The blues guys and
Yeah, but when you look at the Rolling Stones, all their music came from the blues guys.
yeah. But I'm saying but what drives it is something that's indescribable.
But do you look at them as artists?
Yeah,
Or are they
sure I
just
do.
taking advantage of the situation? Because when I look down at all the songs that I grew up with, they meant something. There was a reason. You wrote a lot of your songs, so you knew what that song meant. And I remember Bluebird Cafe. I was obsessed with it
Thank
because
you. That's really beautiful.
right. I was obsessed with it because I got to hear the people explain to me what they were thinking when they wrote the songs.
Yeah.
And what the song was supposed to sound like before it got to.
Yeah, but that's my version of country. It's a storytelling song like Downtown or Masterpiece of Loneliness. They're story songs. And when I was a kid, I listened to Western music, and all of that was stories. Ghost Riders in the Sky, Big Iron.
Oh.
El Paso.
Every time we do these shows, you say that, and I'm going to go home and I'm going to listen to all these songs.
They're
I
so
have
good.
not listened to them in so long, and I love that because I was talking to my son about the B-side, and he said, "What's the B-side?"
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, you're right. DVDs don't have B-sides, and neither does your iPod."
It's an interesting thing, but if you were to release the kind of music that we're talking about as being authentic, and you had a young audience listening to it, maybe they wouldn't be able to relate to it because it doesn't sound contemporary. Who knows what's in a 15-year-old's mind? And
Sure, not the same thing that was in our 15-year-old mind.
well, that's the whole point. You drop what's gone and you move forward. It's a brave new world. And
Do you remember 1981? What was the most popular thing to do?
I can't say it on the air.
Streaking. Were you thinking that? Because that's
Well,
no,
that's
the
part
other
of it too. Hey, don't move, honey. Let me just go.
You were
I'm gonna
10
come out of the bathroom.
You
What?
were 10 years older than me at the time, so
Well-
I was 18. I was still thinking of running through naked,
Yeah, so was I.
but I wasn't chasing anyone.
Yeah, that's true. Well, you know what I'm saying though. But it's like if you get into certain cultures like rap and adult R&B, and that's like some heavy, crazy stuff that's like seriously important to the people listening to it.
Yeah, but when did you start? Because I read somewhere you started when you were like 12 or 13 years old,
Doing what?
writing songs and singing.
No, I started before then. I mean, I remember writing a song waiting for a bus when I was 8, and the bus was called Scotforth 11, and I had a melody in my head singing Scotforth 11, waiting for it to come around the corner. And across the street on the left was a record store called Kenneth Gardner's, and they had Marty Robbins' Gunfighter Ballads and Trail Songs. And between Scotforth 11 and Marty Robbins, an 8-year-old kid was just waiting for the next thing to kick in and become a musician. They're things that were gigantic to me.
And at that age, I was obsessed with guitars. because
Yeah.
I just was, and my fingers were fat. I was way too big, to be a player and stuff. I couldn't play. And the only thing I was gravitated to was promoting people like you.
Well, it's a beautiful thing, and we go back. But I think it's like Bill Graham. There's
Yeah.
people that live it completely, 24/7.
See, I always thought that that's how I was going to be taken out, like Bill Graham was.
What, in a helicopter?
In a helicopter on my way to a stage.
Oh,
Because-
I spend a lot of time in a van driving at night, and and around noon going to the next gig, and you always think somebody's going to come down your side of the street and take you out. The more you travel, the more vulnerable you are. But
Yeah, and literally, when you're traveling, and even when I'm doing concerts, we open up in a new city. Some
Yeah.
days I have to like stand back and go, "Where am I?" When you wake up in bed and you look around
Yeah.
and you go, "Oh,
Believe
I don't
me.
know where we are."
I still do that.
Really, I
Yeah.
still do it too, and I'm at my house. So
That was good. Honey, where am I?
Yeah.
Honey, who are you?
So out of all the bands that you were in,
Yeah.
you can't pick your solo. What band did you have the most fun in? Was it Bad English or
No,
was it?
definitely not. I think it would be the Babies, and I think it would be the version of the Babies that came to America. The first 4-man version of that. I think it was incredibly exciting, new, a dream come true. We'd come from Tooley Street in London.
And Neil Schon was in that band, right?
No, that
No?
was Bad English.
Bad English. Ah,
But this was just 4 British guys from London. We had no money. We'd live in the dream. We were rehearsing in a basement on Tooley Street, which was right next door to Tower Bridge and London Bridge, and it was like a different world. We're in this basement rehearsing because we had nowhere else to go. It was kind of foggy outside. It always seems to be winter. There was a pub next door, and this little old guy was there with a flat cap on, playing the piano, and he was like a Cockney. It'd be, my old man says follow the van, and don't. What is it? Don't. Never mind. Anyway, but it'd be, it'd be shilly-shally on the way and all that. But it was like so Cockney, and it was like Dickens. And it was like we had nothing, but we believed in this thing. And then we suddenly got a record deal, and within like 3 months, we were making a record in Canada. And about 3 months after that, we were on a promotional tour of America. I mean, it was a whirlwind.
that's crazy. But yet then it was your record label that was pulling you all around, right?
Yeah, but it was great. I mean, we were like 22, 23, and everything was just great. I mean, to get a record deal was phenomenal.
And it's funny because some of the people really appreciated the record system where they advanced you money and then they overcharged you.
Yeah,
Because
I know.
would you have made it if they didn't give you that money?
Exactly. As Keith Richards said, it's the price of an education. And once I was free of a certain situation, I made money. And
Well, it was funny because when I was in the nightclub world. Then I got into House of Blues. So a guy named Isaac brought me on board because I guess I'm strange in the fact that numerically everything makes sense to me, but I also love music.
Right.
So he brought me on board, and immediately I saw the music industry so inefficient, so wrong.
Yeah.
And it was a bunch of people that were passionate about their jobs who didn't know what they were doing, but they were passionate, which
Yeah.
made it a great environment. But when we first started House of Blues, people forget that it was amphitheaters or little crappy rooms in a corner somewhere.
Yeah.
And we were the first time that we
Yeah,
brought
true.
out, and we had 1,000 or 12 or 1,300 people, because in Oxnard that is a 1,700 person occupancy, and they get to have John Waite. Where I look at that like that's my contribution to society is I'm bringing John
Yeah.
Waite to Oxnard.
No, but it's yeah, it's I was watching Woodstock a couple of days ago. I was actually watching Woodstock. I went back and then I watched the Rolling Stones Altamont film, and I was seeing the promoter and the staff and the Hells Angels, and I was looking at the people that were actually trying to make Woodstock work, and it was all done on a dream. It was all done on a whim, and
that could have been the biggest debacle. And it kind of was the biggest debacle, because why I'm so familiar with Woodstock is I was a whopping 4 years old when it went down. And I remember going outside asking my parents why there were cars parked all over our neighborhood. And there was
Why are we
crap all
charging
over the place. And all of these girls, and that's probably my first, like, looking at all these beautiful girls in bell bottoms and cut off T-shirts, and I still today, you see that smile on my face. I remember that, being this young little boy watching all these beautiful women walking.
Yeah,
and we were probably 20 miles away from the concert site, and people just got out of their cars. And I think about that today. I don't know how people would react to that today. They got within like 40 miles of Woodstock, and people just parked on 9G and got out of their car.
and walked. Yeah.
And
I
then-
actually went there. I went a couple of years ago. I went to the site. We played up there. There's a huge club. I don't know what it's called, but it's like attached to Woodstock, and it's like a museum, and there's a stage, and you can go and play there. But we went up there and like went to the site, you know, and there's like a monument there, and you look down into the valley, and the roads behind.
Well, I knew Michael and the son and everybody.
Really?
And it's crazy that we were in touch, and people don't realize the House of Blues was supposed to be called Woodstock.
Was it?
Yeah, except Blues Brothers took 3%. They wanted 6%. So
Wow.
that's as simple as it is, because the House of Blues originally was Dan Aykroyd and Isaac.
I'd forgotten that. I'd forgotten. There's so much going in.
They were just screwing around one day, and they decided to do that. And we were looking for the BB's Blues Bars was the restaurant, and we were looking for a reason to do concerts, and that's where it came up. But it's funny, because I was talking to Michael at the time, trying to buy that rights, and I also talked to the guitar player. What we're supposed to be called Purple Haze. What?
Jimi Hendrix?
Jimi Hendrix. So his family, originally I was trying to procure Purple Haze as the name of the Canyon Club.
That'd be good. That'd be good.
But again, they wanted too much of a percentage. And it's funny, because I remember sitting with them saying, you understand the bands already take 85%, and if I give you 6%, then there's only 9% left to survive, and that can't happen.
We could charge more money on the door.
You sound like everybody else.
No. I mean, I often wonder when you're dealing with promoters and stuff. You say like, we can't afford to pay that, and I say, well, just put 50 cents on the ticket. We're gonna bring something that's phenomenal, and if it means paying for extra equipment, I mean, the audience want it.
Yeah.
And if it's not like some ridiculous dollar figure, I mean, you do have to pay to get what you pay for what you get.
That is unequivocally a true statement.
Yeah.
But sometimes people overdo production, overdo stuff. Because
No, I was going to say what we said before about my band. I mean, my band is all completely live. There's no files playing. There's no tapes. There's no light structure. We come out. I mean, the template for it is probably the Jeff Beck group.
Right.
It's like a bass, guitar, and drums, and a singer. And you can... Man, that's the way to go. No keyboards. They fill up a space that should.
Yeah, because every time you see a keyboard, they have that. They're playing all kinds of background stuff.
Bullshit. Yeah.
And we know that because DMH Enterprises is a company that most people know. Like when you see Spasmatics, Boogie Nights, It's All Perfect World, or DMH Enterprises. There's these main companies that own all these tribute bands.
Yeah.
And and these. That's what we do. We monitor what they're looking for, and when someone goes beyond us, like we're never going to get the Rolling Stones to play the Canyon Club, so I will do a Rolling Stones tribute. So I won't do a tribute of someone who possibly could play.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Maybe there's going to be a John Waite tribute band soon.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not giving up on you anytime soon. Since we're nearly the same age, I think we'll both be retiring about the same time.
I'm a better singer than I ever was, and I prefer to stay on the road than be home. And, one of these days I'm going to walk off stage and keep going. I mean, I visualize myself like a Robert Plant sort of figure, like living in some house, beautiful house in England, with a dog, and just have normal past. I mean, not arrive anywhere, not take any interviews, not do anything. Just
How long do you think you could do that for?
I don't know.
Yeah.
But I've done it a couple of times. Gone back to England. I got married, went back to England.
Well,
The
we're
whole
going to
thing.
hold on this because we got to take a commercial break.
Yep.
Thank you to Kettle One, and we will be back right
Yep.
after these messages. And every time I hear that song,
Yeah.
I want to know where you were in Mr. Kuhn's 9th grade English class when I fell in love with the girl sitting in front of me.
You want to know where I was?
Yeah, well, how did you wrote the song about me? That was completely
No, I was in
about
New
me.
York City streaking. Yeah. I don't know.
I was in love with Erica Paleshna,
Ah.
and she sat in front of me.
Oh, really? Was that one of those things?
Yeah, and
Oh.
this song, when you sing that,
Yeah, I know.
I'm thinking like, oh my God, he's sitting behind me in English class.
Yeah, I know. I know. It means a lot of things to a lot of different people. But I mean, honestly, it was made up over somebody else's chord changes. I was working on a song to finish the record.
Oh, you're killing me. That was over chord changes?
Yeah. No, it was just, I couldn't find it's a long story.
Oh.
But we couldn't find the exact song that we'd been working on the night before. And the guy hit play on the reel-to-reel machine, and an 8-note feel came up. And I said, let me try that. It just sounds right to me. It sounds like something I'd do. And he put it up, and I went in the bedroom, the spare sort of studio room, and sang through it once. He didn't record it, but it was formulative. And then the second time, I got the whole first verse and chorus.
And it all just made sense in your head.
It always does, though.
That's crazy.
Well, with the babies, it did. I'd just shout, key of G, and we'd just kick off, and I'd start singing. And it would all kind of evolve into a song. I mean, something like Missing You, having that first verse and chorus, which is the whole, I mean, it's almost poetry. But I couldn't have written that, I don't think. There's something about walking forward with your eyes closed into a piece of music, and it's total reality. I think, honestly, when I'm singing, that's the most purest I get as a human being. I'm not thinking about anything but the music, and I'm in it, and I'm part of it. I'm sort of dancing with it, and I don't know what I'm doing. And the same place that's where the songwriting comes from. There's this place you step out of yourself into a freer thing. You're unrestricted, and you're thinking about all these different images. You might write them down at home, but you never use them. But for some strange reason, when you jump into a song, it's kind of like, hit or miss. And sometimes when you hit it, it tells you the story.
But there is sometimes science behind it. Because I think about constantly the mapping of the brain.
Yeah.
And I know that I'm getting crazy here, but the mapping of the brain, like when you sing that song, it reactivates a portion of my life with my first my first girl that I missed.
Yeah.
And I can picture myself in that situation. So I know for a fact your song triggered my ability to track that portion of my brain to be able to relive that encounter.
Yeah, that's, this might sound very highbrow, but that's Proustian. That's Proust. It's like in the book, Remembrance of Things Past, he has this, what do you call it? His grandma used to give him a cup of tea and let him have this biscuit that he puts in it. And every time he does that now, he remembers this village in France, and he remembers his grandmother. And his
Pavlov's response.
Yeah, well, whatever that is. Yeah. But it's a beautiful thing. And
no, I agree with that.
You know,
I agree because all music to me relates back to girls. And maybe I have a mental problem.
Everything's sex. Absolutely everything is sex. I mean, everything that drives the world is sex.
Well, I didn't go to sex. I said girls because my wife is so beautiful.
Yeah.
And when someone sings a song, I think of, of a girl. Of either a girl in my past, a girl.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
And to me, I think those feelings, that euphoric feeling you get when you're in love.
Yeah.
Is what I'm always striving for. I always want that euphoric
But that's a
feeling.
beautiful thing. I mean, the woman I got married to when I was 16 or 17, I was trying to ask her out. It was always going completely wrong. She was seeing somebody else, and she was the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen.
Right.
And on the jukebox at the local pub downtown, full of university students and art students, which is what I was. If you could read my mind, love, Gordon Lightfoot, and there was You Got a Friend.
Let's see. Do you remember Jay Giles' Blow Your Face Out?
No.
There's a woobly goobly with the green teeth, let me in.
No,
Love
this
Comes
is.
Once.
I mean, I was trying to be romantic there, but I was going to say when I hear those songs, I almost can't.
The bizarre thing is, I believe that is romantic in my mind. There's
Really?
woobly goobly with the green teeth.
Well, it depends what
let
you were
me in.
doing when you were listening to the music.
Yeah, well, I was a goofball. So I was a virgin until I was 18 years old. So
Really?
you knew that I didn't have my shtick too good.
No, I was 17 when I lost my virginity.
Did you?
It was late.
And nowadays, you
Yeah, I
hear
know.
about 12, 13.
Yeah, I know.
And I think at 12, 13, I was a useless POS.
Oh, me too. You know, it was all, it was like wishing, a lot of masturbation,
You're right.
What else? I'm just trying to be straight with you.
I will only say this to you because you said that.
Yeah.
I remember looking up because I grew up and people don't forget that, like, we live in these houses that are 2 and 3 and 4,000 square feet. I grew up in a house with my 3 brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
And our house completely, if you didn't count the cellar, we were 800 square feet.
Wow, that's small.
But it was pretty normal back then. Remember when you had
I
an
was
apartment
raised-
in New
yeah.
York, you got like a 10 by 15 foot apartment. That was your whole apartment.
Absolutely. I was raised in a country cottage, a terrace. It had one room in the front, very small, then a kitchen in the back, and an upstairs bedroom in the back, and an upstairs in the front. And then there was some sort of attic. And across the back alley, it's all in the country.
Right.
There was a wash house, and that's where the toilet was. I mean, we lived in a really... my parents were struggling to move out of that.
And you only did number 2 in the wash house.
Well, yeah,
I agree with
that. Let's hope.
Yes.
Yeah.
On the way there, because even today, my wife is like, I lived on a ranch.
Yeah.
And I thought the best thing about the ranch is I didn't have to use the bathroom.
Really?
I could just go out and off the side of the mountain.
Really?
No one cared.
Wow.
Nowadays, I live in a development, and I think I would be arrested if I did that.
Yeah, that's true.
So
Yeah.
Going back to, because it just, every time I hear the songs, it takes me back to when I was
very
growing
important.
up.
Very important.
But that's what I think it triggers in our brain. I think our brain is mapped, and the music is how my brain is wired.
Yeah, but you might smell something
True. I know what you're saying.
And then suddenly you're back 20 years to a place where you smell that same scent, and you go like, man, and it's sharp and it's vivid.
And the funniest thing is I think about your songs, and I always think about love and girls. When I think about, like, Stairway to Heaven,
yeah,
I don't think about girls. I think about mowing my lawn. Because I remember I would mow the lawn to Stairway to Heaven,
Well,
and
that's
I would
cool.
just have it play over and
well, it's a
over and over
pastoral
again.
song. It's a song about nature, really, I suppose. But I've just been thinking a lot about Robert recently. I got to meet him a few times when he was working with Alison Krauss.
Yeah.
And
Allison's on your new album?
no,
Or-
we did a duet together a few years
you
ago.
did.
And but he's such a great guy, and he's just so down to earth. And his version of the English countryside is pretty much mine. He calls where he lives the Shire, from Lord of the Rings.
Right.
But he's into dogs and the country and the seasons changing, and yet he was in the biggest rock band in the world.
Right.
And he walked away from it. One of them died, and he's pretty much an honourable, straight down to earth guy. And I think he's a good example for any kind of aging rock star, that he does it with such dignity.
Yeah. And when we were talking earlier about Isaac, I remembered that about Isaac, is he had something in his brain.
Cool.
And having it get out, I turned out to be, he would explain to me what he wanted. And the reason I think he liked me, or whether he ever liked me or not, he never told me he liked me, but I was the only person he would talk to about business. Because all the other people, I felt like he was painting a picture like he was the guru. And with me, he didn't have to do that. He would say, I want to put a door here, and I would say, that's a bearing wall. You
Yeah,
can
no,
put
I
a
get
door
that.
there, but it will cost you like $400,000. And then he would go out and pitch it like it was his idea. And I always was so impressed with that because I never wanted to be famous. I wanted to be rich. I wanted the
If you were
money.
a carpenter, you could put the door in.
Right. And that's the thing is, as my engineering background, I could show him how to put the door in.
Ace,
But I was
absolutely.
like, I was jealous of what he was. I'm jealous of what you are.
Oh, don't be.
But the point is like every day, like Luann is my right hand. I love her to death. I think I make her cry at least once a month. It's kind of my
That's good.
standard. She's
That's
my
not
work.
bad.
She's my work wife, and she has to deal with me getting upset, yelling for the sake of yelling because no one has an answer. You know what I mean? Just like with you, when you have concerts, sometimes things don't go right.
Well, I'll have to. You know what? Interestingly enough, a few years ago, if the monitors went out, it would absolutely destroy the show. I would be completely. I wouldn't know what to do. These days, I don't care.
But that's amazing because
No,
I'm the
it's-
same way
it's-
because
but,
it's
you
kind of
know-
like the enemy of great is perfect.
Do you know that? I just read that. I read that today on Pinterest.
I say it 100 times a day because my crew, I knew a whole generation strive for perfection and they fail miserably.
You know, Voltaire said, and this sounds very preachy.
That's all right.
Never take the perfect over the good.
And I do that because some of the people, like these new young kids,
Yeah,
because I
no.
believe this. If you're not mentoring something, you're a POS. You need to mentor people because
That's really cool.
The new people out there, right, Lou? I say it in every meeting. If you're not mentoring someone to take your spot, you got to trust. You got to trust life and you got to trust stuff because
But I think most people want to.
I get, but there's those people that think that if you tell me
Oh,
your
you-
secret
I
sauce,
know.
then I'm going to steal it. And I'm like, no, you
Yeah,
don't.
but they're the kind of people you don't want to get involved with anyway. You know, I think people have a
Those
lot
are
of
the people
empathy.
we don't hire.
Exactly, but I mean, empathy, integrity, honesty, decency, charity.
And willing to
These-
admit you made a mistake.
Oh, absolutely. But that's like being completely grown up, and a lot of people never got there for a different reason. I have no idea. But the things that, like I was saying about bringing the light, like talking about Sammy Hagar going to
Right.
play with your son's restaurant.
For no reason.
Yes, but that's the same thing. It's like having that thing that you can bring to people simply by showing up and doing something you love.
Right.
I mean, what a gift.
Do you know Kevin Cronin?
Yeah.
Kevin's the same way. He is one of the nicest human beings I've ever come across in my life. And like his band, he splits the money equally. And
They've got a lot
I
of
only
trouble right now. I don't know if they're going to get back together.
well, the issue is I have to be honest with you. When that happens, it makes me happy because then I know I have a crack at getting Kevin to play, and I
there
get a
you go.
crack at people being able to come see Kevin with under $100 ticket.
Yeah, but it doesn't work as well as the Kevin being with that band.
I agree, but he's taking the guitar player with him that he gets along so well with.
Yeah, but it's still the thing about the logo.
I get that, but do you care? As a fan, I don't care about the logo.
A lot of people, if they don't see the logo,
My
they don't buy a ticket.
I have to tell you this. My favorite thing, because you always have been a good-looking guy, and you're actually good-looking now.
I love this guy. No, you.
but the point
you,
is-
man, I love you. No.
But the point is people that are good-looking, they don't understand the reaction other people have. There's a lot of people. Could you imagine doing what you did and looking like, me?
Oh,
know what I mean?
you don't have to say stuff like that. But there are certain artists, there are certain female artists that if they want
But I
beautiful,
say your
they-
name to someone who's 40, 50, 60 years old, and they go, oh, he's so cute. He's
Oh,
so
man.
handsome.
Well, it might hold me back if I was cute. I mean, I think it took a while to get taken seriously, I mean, I don't know.
I
if
agree with that. I agree 100%.
And when I came from England, I dressed on the street. I was absolutely like into clothes, into being a mod, into being like a rock mod.
So you had the straight legs leather pants on?
I had the whole thing. Velvet suits and embroidery.
I used to make fun of my uncle.
Yeah, no, it's
My
okay
Uncle
you're saying
Mark,
that. But I mean,
he used to come to me with those leather pants on with the tight, and you could see his underwear line. You're
yeah,
thinking
no,
like,
no
"Ew."
underwear and leather pants. But I mean, I didn't get to the leather pants until I was in the 80s. But the point was, I looked like that when I was signing on the Dole. when I hadn't got a job and I was starving to. I looked like that. I would buy stuff in junk stores, and my girlfriend would take it in and remake it. And I think when we got off the plane and the people saw the babies, they were like, "Oh my God!" But I mean, that was who I was. I mean,
but you got to go back to that time because of the British invasion, all
yeah,
of that
but I
stuff
mean,
going on.
you had Mott the Hoople and Bowie and the Small Faces, and you had all these really great bands, and they all look sharp.
Right.
I mean, Dylan looked sharp. Jimi Hendrix looked beautiful.
But the crazy thing is, I was attracted, like you, Jimi Hendrix, the Rolling Stones.
Yeah.
Never liked them, but I loved other bands. And who says that in that, what do they call it? That thing that's out there that makes you famous. What is that?
I have no idea.
Because to me, you're famous over the years because you were quality and you just kept producing stuff the whole time. Because like other people, like I think about stars today, like I could name people that everybody, Demi Lovato is the person, and then all of a sudden she's gone.
Yeah, it's a different world. But we're back to AI. I mean, we're in a world of such immediate change.
Right.
Where everybody is like watching the screen and it morphs into something else, or it becomes porn, or it sounds like something, or it sounds like something that you like.
It's funny. I was on
on
the Google AI
yeah.
yesterday, and I said, give me a list of all the venues in Southern California that are over 1,500 seats.
Right.
And it gave me 4 venues. Now,
really?
I was like, wait, there's like 17 venues that are under that. And I said, the next question was, I said, are you affected by any particular group that is causing you not to list the other things?
Wow.
It admitted to me that it was affected, and this is the true list.
But
it won't tell me who affected it.
Yeah, but was that AI actually having a conscious exchange with a human being?
I had a conscious question to AI, and it responded to me consciously, saying, yes, I am biased. Yeah, I am not telling you the truth.
I love that.
And that's the great thing, because I tell people, because I'm a civil engineer, but I also took management information system. This is just programming to the crazy level.
Oh, absolutely.
Because
it's 1984.
Yeah.
I mean, it's absolutely like you're going to end up in a small cubicle with a toilet and a TV and a credit card. I mean, the way things are going right now, it's going straight to the right. And the world is so out of control. And you're kind of wondering what's the right thing to do and the wrong thing to do. The last thing we need now is AI to confuse things so much.
Oh, yeah, because I think about, like, I watch a little TikTok.
Yeah.
And every time I see something on TikTok, I go, I wonder if that's really true.
Yeah.
And that's a problem.
Yeah, my band, we talk about politics in the van quite a bit, and everybody's got a different point of view, and they're watching different news stations, and they're getting different reports.
On the same topic. And completely different.
But it depends who owns the station.
True.
That's really like, wow, where did the truth go?
Right.
It's like.
But this is where then they were preaching AI only can be the truth. Well, that's not true.
Come on.
Yeah, because I think about that every day. You know what AI is great for?
What?
All lawyers should lose their jobs. All judges should lose their jobs.
Well.
And because that's what it's for. And doctors. Because I would trust an AI doctor before I would. I don't want a doctor to have a feeling. I want him to work off of facts.
Wow.
Whereas, like musicians, I want you to work off a feeling. You're all feelings. I don't need facts with you.
Well, that was good to bring it back to music. I wouldn't mind if I don't make it out of the next 10 years. I would love, just as a gift from somebody, to come back and see where all this led to, because I can't see how we're going to get out of this in one
I kind of want to stick around to see what happens. Right.
Exactly.
I'm not going anywhere because I want to see where this mess rolls out to.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I have to be honest with you. I felt this way in the 70s, early 70s. I felt this way when I graduated college. You know what I mean? Lady Bertram was my political science major, political science teacher. And I remember the things we were talking about are the exact same things we talk about today.
Right.
Nothing's changed. and we just are repetitively going through this.
Yes, but
and we all have to learn. This is it. Enjoy it.
Yeah, but like we're saying about like certain acts focusing on a certain demographic to make money. If you're a young person, that's what you.
Yeah, but isn't
you
that
want
how I ruin music? Is I break it down to how do I make money off of John Waite?
But everybody's complicit. I mean, the artist
True.
wants to be famous before they become like a creative human being. It's all about your 15 minutes of fame.
Correct.
And everybody's supporting that, the record company, the managers, the lawyers, the agents, because it makes money. But now you have a whole generation of people who are simply in there to be famous.
You wouldn't do something illegal that hurt others because you wouldn't let you do that. You know what I'm saying? Whereas being a musician, you are lifting others up.
Well, you would hope.
And it's not all about making money because I think making money is a byproduct.
It's always been the same. When I was a little kid, there was people on TV that were talentless, but they were kind of cute, and they were like, being rock and roll or whatever. And they were just showbiz kids, and it was great because
Right.
I was like 6. But when you get to be about 16...
But remember, when we were younger, everybody would have sold their soul to be famous.
Yeah, I know.
It wasn't about money. It was about
fame came with the success.
Right.
And it made me incredibly uncomfortable for a long time. And then I started to enjoy it because once you realize how insane it all is, it's good fun. But if you take it seriously, it's going to kill you,
I agree with that 100%. Because if you start to analytically try to decide, why is this person approaching me? Why are they talking to me?
Yeah,
That would be like, it would hurt your feelings because
there's a thing in that the Dylan movie, No Direction Home. Is it the new one?
Mm-hmm.
Is that what it's called? Yeah.
Yes.
And Dylan is walking down the street in New York with this black girl, and he says, "I don't think I want to see you anymore." And she says, "But I love you," and he says, "We've only just met," and then he walks off. But fame is the weirdest thing because people change immediately when they get into your orbit.
Right.
And man, it's like living on a razor's edge.
But the amazing thing is, if you read my Wikipedia page, and I think it's like you would say, this guy is full of S. Because there's no way I experienced what I've experienced in my life. I went from sports to entertainment to business to starting companies. And all the people I've met have been so great to me. I see these poor people. If I graduated high school today, I don't think I'd go to college. I have to be honest with you. I think I would just go off and find a career because I think the happiest people in the world are the people who kept it simple.
Oh, I agree with that.
Yeah, because my life is so complicated. I couldn't unwind my life if I tried.
Yes, but you have no choice.
True.
If you've got an imagination,
I
it
would
doesn't go to
quit
sleep at
if
night.
I had a choice, but I don't have a choice.
Well, my life's taken me all over the world, and there's been a tremendous amount of drama, but it's been so wonderful. I've had such a wonderful life.
Right, you wouldn't change anything because
No, I
the
wouldn't.
worst things that have happened to me made me who I am.
I read that today as well on Pinterest. I mean, the damage that you take, makes you evolve into the person you are today.
And I have to say, I looked forward to speaking to you. I want you to come back. If you ever are bored, please come back, and I'd love to talk to you. I can talk to you forever because
I
you're really
enjoyed the conversation.
an amazing guy.
No. But thank you very much. I really enjoyed it. I never really do these things, but I.
And I know I had Luann bother you to get this done.
No,
I do
it's a beautiful thing. No, I'm really happy to be here. It was good. I really enjoyed the conversation.
Yeah.
I threw Voltaire in there and Proust, and but I also threw in Marty Robbins, and that's enough for me.
Well, and thank you, this has been Where Music Meets the Soul. This is John Waite. We have some concerts coming up here pretty soon. We have Queensryche. Jeff Tate is coming on November 15th at the Canyon Agora. Billy Bob Thornton.
Oh, whoa. I know Billy is
He's
great.
playing the day after you are in Oxnard.
Oh, man, he's a great guy.
And I'm telling anybody this right now. If you buy a ticket to John Waite, I will throw in a free ticket to Billy Bob Thornton. Can you make that happen
What if
for
I
me,
buy
Lou?
a ticket to Billy Bob Thornton? Do I get a ticket to John Waite?
Well, Billy just called me a couple days ago, and he wanted to do this gig, and so we booked it in 2 weeks. And I just want to see if I can do it.
Do you know, anytime you think you got a handle on Billy Bob, just go back and watch Sling Blade.
I love that.
Oh, man.
What
He's a
actor.
spectacular guy. He's a really nice guy.
And
Very,
he got
very,
to-
very smart.
And he got to be with Angelina Jolie.
In the back of a van, apparently.
And amazing, he is not a good-looking guy.
Oh, I think he's good looking.
Well, if
She
he's
said he
good
was the
looking,
most
then I'm good
beautiful
looking.
human. No, she said when he got naked that she thought he was the most beautiful man she'd
really?
ever seen.
And all my wife ever says is that she freaked him out
Put it
because he
back
wears
on.
blood
What?
around his neck. Well, then again, thank you for coming. I do appreciate it.
Thank
and
you.
it's great when I get to interview one of my,
God
true.
bless you.
And thank you to KABC. Thank you to Kettle One. And thank you to Where Music Meets the Soul. Come and support your local business. Remember, we're the ones that hold everything together. Nice classes.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Good night.